Hey there, positive managers. Welcome to the final module, where we're going to look at how to address employees who just don't fit within your team or organization. And then I'll wrap it all up by talking about what you should do with those employees who, in spite of working this program with them for 3 to 6 months, are still unsuccessful. So let's look at employees who just don't fit. Are they really a problem if they're performing successfully? It's my opinion that the answer is yes, because you'll never truly create a high-performance work environment if the fit within your team isn't right. Just as performance suffers when an employee lacks the know-how to do a job or the desire to problem solve, performance is also effective when the job isn't a match for the employee's interests or passions. Passion is the fuel, the spark that creates the drive, and an employee who's in the wrong job or profession is like a fish out of water. And that includes you. After the past 4 months, you are probably a lot clearer on whether being a manager of people is the right job for you, right? Even if you're a strong performer. Unfortunately, we often misinterpret a strong performer as a passionate performer and assume they love the work they do so well. I'm a great example of this. For years, I worked as a highly successful labor negotiator. Negotiating and strategizing were, and still are, strengths of mine. Yet the work really didn't inspire me or make me truly happy. And over time, the toxicity of the work negatively impacted me. Nonetheless, I was so caught up in the ego of being a great negotiator that I stuck it out. Now, it's possible that my previous employers were satisfied with my excellent yet internally passionless performance, because I was a high performer and had quite a reputation as a successful negotiator. However, I can tell you that overall, I was not a positive addition to their teams and didn't make the contributions to those organizations that I could have, had I been truly engaged in my work. Maybe you and your organization are willing to settle for employees like I was. Excellent, yet singular. But I truly hope not. I believe you need to be mindful of employees like I used to be, who may lack any passion for or even hate the work they do, despite being good at it. Because it's usually those employees who will cause you the worst problems, because they act out and stir the pot. Even if it's unconscious, they self-sabotage themselves out of the job they secretly hate. That's why it's important to really get to know your employees and gain their trust. You don't want to be working toward igniting passion in an employee who really shouldn't be on your team in the first place. It's a wasted effort and not good for your organization. When I became a neutral, that is, a labor mediator and arbitrator, I thrived. And then when I discovered that not only was I a natural coach and trainer, but actually had superpowers desperately needed by leaders and managers, I soared. If you have an employee who, although successful, just isn't the right fit, both for themselves and for your team, you need to help them realize they should be on the look to move on, to find the right fit for them to soar. This isn't the easiest decision for either of you, but it's the right one, and you owe it to both of you to recognize it and move toward it. 6 months after helping the Public Works Department, where I worked, manage out a union employee who had been shuffled around for 3 years due to budget cuts and his own performance issues, I saw him in the organization's parking lot. He came up to me and hugged me. He told me that both he and his wife thanked me for positively supporting him through the termination process. He had since come to realize just how unhappy he'd been being in the wrong job. He said he was now working in a job he loved, and that forcing him to face up to the fact that he'd been a fish out of water in our organization, an idea he initially strongly resisted, turned out to be the best thing that had happened to his career. And because we used my Positively Managing Unsuccessful Employees program, his union didn't grieve his termination either. And that was a first for our organization when it came to terminations of represented employees. In fact, the union attorney took me out to lunch to discuss how much he and his firm were impressed by my program. They felt it protected both the employee and the organization and created a clear, easy-to-follow path. I'm aware that managing employees up or out is difficult, and that's why I've created an entire program on how to do it positively and fairly. And many managers using this program have actually been surprised that the very employee they felt was destined to be terminated was turned around. In fact, more employees than not were put on a successful path using my method. And my programs make it easy to diagnose whether the issue is performance or misconduct. When it's misconduct, my Positively Managing Misconduct program is the perfect solution. Many human resources and labor relations professionals find that they spend 80% of their work time dealing with the problems generated by 5% of their employees. The most serious problem employees include those no longer able to perform the duties of a changing job, or perhaps they never were. More serious are the truly dysfunctional and destructive employees, whose constant disruption and defiance can be toxic in the workplace. Remember that your real goal isn't to terminate employees. It's to help unsuccessful employees find success, whether that's within your organization or out. And if it's a situation where the person isn't a fit because they can't do the job or aren't suited to it, it's not a termination in the same sense that an employee who's engaged in misconduct is fired. Instead, look at it as a mutual parting of the ways. It's better to part company with an underachiever or a fish out of water than continue to suffer the resulting damage to you, your team, and your organization. So what can you do to influence those who lack that fire in the belly, yet you believe they can actually like the work and they have the capacity to be passionate about it? First, figure out whether they're in a position that leverages their strengths and get to know them. Find out what they're passionate about and what's missing from the work they're currently doing for you. Then look for opportunities across the organization to steer them projects that may play toward their passions whenever possible. Don't get locked into the concept of job titles or be hindered by departmental boundaries. Both of you, as well as the organization as a whole, will be rewarded for it. Next, be there and be present. When employees know they have the support of their manager and that their manager recognizes the value they bring to the organization and will spend time to aid in their success, passion can be ignited. And don't forget, when an employee does demonstrate passion at work, recognize it and celebrate it, and tailor it in a way they can most appreciate. And show your own passion for the work. As a manager of people, you can't expect others to be passionate about what they do unless you're modeling your own passionate behavior. And if you know in your heart you aren't passionate about this work, consider finding out why. Maybe you need to make a change like I did. If that's the case, in the long run, it's better for everyone. But if it's your calling, remember to be grateful that you have first world problems. To quote Oprah, this day that you have been graced to breathe in and out thousands of times, this day where many of those breaths were taken for granted that the next one will just come. But the truth is there is no guarantee that the next one comes. This is the day to do better and be better. It's another chance to become more of who you were created to be and to do what you were created to fulfill. And like Joel Osteen said, you have to give yourself permission to accomplish your dreams. Choose to dwell on thoughts that empower you, inspire you, encourage you. Thoughts that give you joy. When you wake up in the morning, you need to set your mind for victory. Set your mind for success. Our attitude should be, this is going to be a great day. Every day we get to choose what kind of attitude we're going to have. Set your mind for good breaks. Start expecting your plans to work out. Expect people to be good to you. Expect to have a good day. Enjoy the journey, not the destination, and celebrate along the way. This moment is a gift. Be driven, be hungry, and don't listen to the naysayers. Are you willing to stop procrastinating and waiting for your dreams? Today is the day we let go of all the old to let in the new. We just get one life. Trust that you have something special. You are extraordinary. Give yourself credit. You're stronger than you know. And with that, we've come to the end. If you've done the work I've laid out for you so far, I congratulate you. If not, before you proceed to a more advanced or specific program, you need to do it. This program is the foundation from which to manage performance and everything that comes with it. And I am certain it'll change your life at work in a positive way. If you've rolled up your sleeves and cranked it out, you're now ready to tackle using these tools to help your entire team and yourself all achieve success as you've defined it. Imagine the change to your employees, your team, your organization, and yourself if everyone you manage is performing successfully. And once success has been achieved, you can start fine-tuning to raise the bar even higher. If you have employees who still can't achieve that successful level as you've defined it, even after using this program faithfully for 3 to 6 months, it's time to move both of you into my Managing Unsuccessful Employees system. If you have attendance problems or problems with behavior rising to the level of misconduct, I urge you to check out my other programs as we continue to add to the library of programs within my Positively Managing method. Thanks so much for becoming one of my positive managers. Now go out and change the world, one employee interaction at a time.